Working your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back to the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. Cody here with Brian tonight. Brian, how are we doing?
Doing all right. Just got done playing basketball. Gross, sweaty, sticky, but I'm here.
Let me ask you a question. If you just played basketball, are you feeling old right now?
Yes, but
good. It's fitting.
Let me tell you, we were playing with people that were like 55 to 60, no joke. And there were people full court pressing them, and I was just like,
That's awesome.
All right, yeah. Cody, let them know what we're in for today.
Yeah, I think the you feeling old is pretty fitting because we got the Boomer draft. And I have to admit, I think this is the exact scoring format and everything of the first two fantasy football leagues that I played in. Most of my leagues have moved away from some of this. So we're going to do a 10-team standard scoring, one flex. You're pretty cut and dry. My leagues have moved away, but I think there's still a lot of leagues out there with this type of scoring format. So this will be good.
Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to get it started. I'm on the clock. I feel like because this is a standard draft, this is a very easy pick. We're not talking any point PPR, nothing like that.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go ahead, pop Jonathan Taylor onto my squad.
It's the right pick for sure, especially in standard scoring. Do you still have any leagues that are standard scoring?
No, I haven't had any. Well, I mean, I'm the commissioner of like every league I'm in, so I don't let that happen. I'm in one that's half PPR, and that's the closest.
Okay.
How about you?
I don't think so. I do still have some half PPR, but both that I commish are full PPR. So
yeah, so there, I gotta be honest. I'm kind of surprised that Christian McCaffrey is the projected second overall pick there. I know he's been moving up draft boards a lot, but like no PPR.
Yeah, really, it seems the no PPR seems to have impacted Eckler more than McCaffrey, which doesn't make total sense. But I guess McCaffrey's still, a 1,200-yard rusher, so.
Yeah.
So we got lots of running backs here. We got you with Taylor, McCaffrey 2, Mario took Derrick Henry at 3, Austin Eckler 4, Dalvin Cook 5, and then we got a little receiver run, which I was hoping would happen. This played out exactly how I was hoping.
Because now you get to steal Joe Mixon.
Well, I was hoping to either have Najee Harris or Joe Mixon. So Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase went, and so I got to make a hard decision. I actually think I'm going to go Najee, but I was perfectly happy with it being Joe Mixon. And my stuff's frozen. My stuff's frozen. I'm not going to get him.
Oh, whoops, I clicked the wrong guy anyway.
What's happening?
You got Cooper Kupp, dude. You're fine.
That's pretty annoying. I don't know why my stuff isn't working. This is really, really cool.
Use your phone if you have to. Yeah, I think actually Mixon is a better pick than Harris in standard, just because I feel like Najee is really going to depend on catches this year to maintain his scoring output.
Right. I mean, actually, Cooper Kupp is pretty fine there, but man, is that disappointing what just happened there.
Yeah, no joke. Wow, that's an early Saquon pick, but he has been moving up a lot lately. I would not take him over Joe Mixon.
Real quick, I am on auto.
You are on auto draft, yep.
I got to get myself off of auto here.
True to its name, Cody is in the Boomer draft.
I'm struggling here. I'm very stuck.
I'm
very, very stuck.
I see that.
I mean, even my computer's mad. I do know I'm on auto pick. It's perfectly clear to me. You don't need to tell me.
After Cody's DeAndre Swift pick, which isn't a bad pick there, we have Keenan Allen, Alvin Kamara, who it looks like he is not going to be missing any games this year. That's the current news, is that he is going to
suspension for 2023.
Yeah.
What are you going here, Brian? End of the second here. We're at the 2-3 turn.
You know, I would have liked to get Chubb or Aaron Jones here, but it's not looking like it. I got the turn, so I get 2 picks here. I don't really feel like reaching on any receivers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab Josh Allen, and I'm actually going to grab Deebo Samuel.
Lenny. Oh!
No, I want
that was a
Deebo.
Lenny spot, baby.
Because I do think Deebo, after signing his fat contract, and he's coming back, why can't he repeat what he did last year?
So you're back in, huh?
I just don't like. I mean, I should have taken Stephon Diggs. I love Stephon Diggs. Honestly, what's getting me is just the whole standard thing. I feel like I'm putting way too much weight on that.
I think I'm just going to be auto-drafted this whole draft, and stuff's just not going to work. Let me go to my phone. Because I can't even queue players. I don't know what's happening. I can't even queue players up.
Try refreshing. I don't know what to tell you.
I've literally left the website.
I do think Tyreek Hill is too high here because I do think his value is going to be impacted a lot by Jalen Waddle. I don't think Waddle is just going to disappear.
Yeah.
But you know what the interesting thing is that Waddle and Hill are both being projected as like the top 2 receivers off the board, or maybe Higgins and Chase are before them. But then people like Tua is going undrafted. Like, how does that make any sense?
Hey, check out the chat real quick. I don't think I'm alone.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're having a little bit of sleeper struggles to some degree.
Could be. Maybe they got too many drafts going on right now.
Maybe. All right, so let's hit some picks. So you went Josh Allen and Deebo. Then we got Stephon Diggs, Javonte Williams, A.J. Brown, Zeke, Tyreek Hill, Justin Herbert.
Yep. And it's on Cody, who
on the clock. I'm on my phone now. We're in okay shape now.
I actually think Mark Andrews here is a pretty good pick. You wanted Lenny. I do too. You wanted me to take Lenny, so
I actually am going to go Mark Andrews. I was a little disappointed because I was hoping to start this draft running back, not Cooper Kupp. And so I'm feeling pretty vulnerable at running back and standard scoring. Obviously, running backs get a little push there.
Yeah, for sure they get a little push.
So sitting here going into round 4 with only one running back, it definitely makes me a little uneasy. But we'll see how it plays
I also only have one running back, but
that's true. Brian, you want to mute that?
Oh, I can do that. This is my first mock draft on stream.
That's all right.
I don't know what I'm doing. You see, I have the one running back that's just going to score enough for 2 running backs, so I don't have to.
That's true. You're a little better off than me with just DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
I feel really good with that.
Kind of play running back.
Yeah, I feel good with that Mark Andrews with Kyle Pitts going right after.
I actually love Kyle Pitts this year.
I like Kyle Pitts too, but Mark Andrews to me is still a step above to me.
Didn't Drake London just get hurt too, like a hamstring or?
It was his knee, but he said he might practice this week, so I take it as not.
Okay, so it's nothing.
Yeah.
Cam Akers goes there. Man, that's interesting.
It is.
From Alex. Because I didn't think anybody was a Cam Akers fan.
Right.
I like House's team a lot so far. Najee and Mixon, the 2 guys you wanted. And you add in Pitts.
Yep, I know. That's because kind of my dream there. I felt like I had to take Andrews for the good price, and I was like, man, maybe Lenny will come back to me. And now I'm not feeling good at RB2.
Yeah, you can take James Conner. Everybody hates him, but
yeah, in standard scoring, he's a perfect standard scoring player. You know, he's a touchdown machine. It's
you know, honestly, I probably would have gone Breece Hall. I have faith.
Yep.
Just that's it. You have faith too?
Well, I don't necessarily have faith, but I was contemplating him there. I think we're getting into that territory.
Dobbins. I like Dobbins too.
Yeah. I would have taken, really, I guess I probably wasn't there on Breece because J.K.'d be over him. Montgomery's still there over him. So really, I guess Breece probably isn't on my board yet.
Montgomery's one that I feel like the winds are shifting on him. I think it's going to be a split. I think Herbert's, I know you don't believe it, but I do. And we're not going to know until we see it all unfold when the year comes out. T. Higgins and Mahomes going off the board there. It's pretty good value for Mahomes.
House is thanking me for the running backs.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially because he gets his boy Najee.
Yep. So Patty goes to see QB3. I like the T-Mac pick there by Mario in the 4th round. That's good value.
Yeah. Oh, I hope Brees lasts here. I don't think he's going to, but I hope he does. You're a great little RB2 for my team. Mario couldn't even flame me for it because of ETN, because he claims ETN's just going to be a pass catcher. I don't think he's a pass catcher. Well, if you want me to turn off the sounds, I think I could restart the thing. Oh, and there it is. Josh Jacobs. Very interesting there to me. I'm going to go Brees Hall. And I'm going to go...
Getting yourself a receiver?
Between DK and Mike Williams. I know we had this chat the other day. I'm going to go with DK. Yeah, so let me refresh the screen share just so that it isn't sharing sound. We can get that annoying beeping out of here. And there we go, we're back. All right, so Cortland Sutton to Mario.
Yep.
Shocker. George Kittle right before him.
He definitely wants a piece of this Broncos offense.
Oh,
which, I mean, not to say that's a bad thing, but he's coming away with it a ton.
Yeah, he does. Mike Williams goes 2 spots before Cody could have got him. We all know Cody is Mike Williams' side piece, so
that's
disappointment
true.
there.
It is.
Actually, I think Mike Williams is a pretty great receiver for a non-PPR league.
Yeah. Yep. He's got a good chance at, at least 8 touchdowns, and he's probably got double-digit touchdown potential.
I think for sure. I think he was the best. I mean, I know Keenan Allen's there, and he runs those crisp, shallow routes.
Right.
But Mike Williams is like arguably one of the best short fade guys in the league.
I can't decide what to do here. I'm going to feel a little gross about what I'm doing here, and I might be letting the standard scoring jade me too much. I passed on Deontay Johnson and went with Amari Cooper, which I would not do almost ever. What are your thoughts there?
See, the news of Deontay having his little injury, I don't think it's anything necessarily to be concerned about, but it is kind of a concerning location. Because I think it's his hamstring, right? Or it's some soft tissue.
It is. Maybe groin, something, yeah.
It is early enough that, he could be fine, but then there's all the George Pickens hype.
Right.
And don't really know who this quarterback's going to be. So, I mean, I don't hate it necessarily.
Right.
I think I would have taken Waddle above Cooper, though.
Man, see, Waddle's even worse PPR to me. All he did last year was receptions. He didn't have yards or touchdowns.
I'm all in on the Dolphins offense this year.
So I want to bring up something that I'm definitely willing to do in standard scoring. Like I said, I don't have any leagues like this anymore, but I did something there that I'm willing to do. For my flex, I'm looking best skill player available. I'm not so focused. I'm always a receiver in my flex guy. I'm willing to run a running back in my flex and standard scoring.
Yeah,
and to me, David Montgomery was the best player on the board in terms of my flex position.
Oh, here we go. Absent from preseason win. Chase Claypool had a shoulder injury. Hip flexor, that's what it was.
Okay, yeah, that does sound right now that you say it.
Yeah.
There he goes.
There goes Judy. There goes Deontay Johnson.
Too late on Deontay, honestly, but
I agree. He went late in our dynasty startup the other day, too.
Yeah.
I think Antonio Gibson he's one that's going to continue falling as drafts get closer and closer, especially as Brian Robinson turns up. And I think Gibson fumbled in the preseason game the other day.
Okay.
And I think Robinson scored. So, people are really buying into that preseason hype. Ooh, Allen Robinson. I'm a big fan of that pick. Allen Robinson is going to be a stud.
That's pretty early, man. I don't dislike the pick.
Look at who's here. Who are you taking over him?
Oh,
I mean,
Brian,
Brandon Cooks
quite a
is
few.
safe.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks, Hollywood, honestly, Antonio Gibson. I mean,
Waller hamstring. That's not going to stop me from taking him, but you would go Hollywood over Allen Robinson? I think you're crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hollywood
was top 12 last year. Allen Robinson was top 120.
Darren Waller. Let's do
That's great value on Darren Waller. I mean,
do a little quick update on Chris Godwin. Out for Saturday as expected. His knee's still injured. He's doing a little bit of training camp running.
at the
I mean,
6.
Brandon Cooks is the perfect flex, right? But I'm going to go A.J. Dillon.
I think A.J. Dillon's a good flex in this format.
That is true. I love A.J. Dillon, and I'm not afraid to reach for my guys, and that
Yeah.
is one that he is one of my guys this year, for sure. I think he is going to be third-round value next year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Fresh Moolah does here. Let's see. I guarantee Jalen Hurts goes in the next 5 picks.
It's probably going to be Mario right here.
It probably is. Yep,
there it is.
Antonio Gibson finally falls off the board. He is one just going to keep falling. And actually,
he's fallen a lot. How far do you think he goes? Because I mean, he's probably just barely top 24 anymore.
He might continue falling. I think he's going to continue falling down. Miles Sanders still, I will never touch. He's had like one good year in the league, and every other year has been a huge disappointment. But no, this is probably right around where he should go.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenneth Walker is probably going to be rising here.
Right.
Especially with Rashad Penny getting injured. Godwin goes off the board. Thielen goes off the board, which surprisingly, I feel like there's been a lot of hype for Thielen this year.
This is the right format for him too. That's probably why he's a little higher.
And there's a lot of he's like 32, 33. I'm kind of out on Thielen. Like, I know he catches touchdowns, and that's everybody's argument for him, but I feel like touchdowns are not so predictable with receivers as they are with running backs.
Here's where it feels like a little bit of I don't want to say a wasted pick, and especially not this format. This format, it's okay because he's still got a good chance of double-digit touchdowns. So this isn't necessarily this format, but in PPR leagues, where I get a little more nervous about him is just in the fact of like, obviously there's all this hype about Justin Jefferson. Obviously the receptions aren't there. Obviously he's 32, going to be 33 years old. You're not drafting any upside. Like, what's the best case scenario?
Exactly.
It's not very high. Now,
and in like keeper leagues or dynasty, you don't want to touch him either.
Now, if someone gets him late and wants to say like, hey, I'm going to use him as a bye week flex fill-in, I actually like him for that role because I think he's got a good chance at a touchdown each week. And when you are talking bye week flex fill-in, all you can hope for is a touchdown. That's like best case scenario. And so I like him for that specific spot, but he's got to be cheap if you're going to draft him just to use him in that role in your team because the upside's not there.
So here we have Ken Walker goes off the board.
Hit my pick there in the 7th round. I'm quite pleased with it.
In the 7th round, Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
I like
after
Darnell Mooney a lot
after
this year.
Moore.
I would take him in front of all those guys. Maybe Godwin I would take because I know Godwin might miss a couple games to start the year, but I'd even
take him over guys 2 rounds ago. I'd take him over Jerry Jeudy. I'd take him over
I'd take him over Amari Cooper.
That's funny, actually. No, you're going to be picking here, so I'll hit the pick. So we had Ken Walker. In the 8th round, we had Ken Walker, Bateman. I took Damian Harris as some running back insurance. He's my 4th running back. We got Dak Prescott, Devonta Smith, Kareem Hunt, Dalton Schultz to Mario. Shocker there. I tell you, I think I could have picked Mario's team before he even drafted tonight.
Oh, I think everybody could have.
And then Juju, and then Brian hit us with your picks.
I hit us with back-to-back rookies, and then another rookie went off the board. So I went Drake London and Treylon Burks, who I think will do better in PPR leagues for sure.
Yeah.
But basically, Drake London, Treylon Burks, they're the only guys there. Essentially, I mean, you have Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, but Atlanta's going to be terrible, so they're going to have to throw the ball.
I mean, to put it transparent, how many stud rookies are there each year? Maybe one generally, but you gave yourself probably the 2 best chance at hitting that person. So even if it costs you an 8th and a 9th rounder, and you find that Jamar Chase, and it won't be to that level, but the stud of this class.
Exactly. No, if I'm getting like 900 yards and 5 touchdowns out of these guys, that's kind of what I realistically would see them putting up. I think that's pretty good. That's solid. I think these 2 are being slept on, especially because this rookie class was touted for their receivers. You know, it wasn't really touted for anything.
Agreed.
Breece Hall and Ken Walker, who's kind of just, come into a role with the Penny injury and because of the team he landed on. But these receivers are studly. And you said that there's only like 1 stud receiver each year. I feel like in the past few years, that's becoming more prevalent as we get into a more pass-friendly league.
That there's just one, you mean, or that there's a stud as a rookie?
That there's more than one. I mean, I don't know what you necessarily classify as stud.
Well, I'm talking the Jamar Chase last year, the Justin Jefferson the year before. To me, that's like finding the changer for your season. And
I think there could be 2 to 4 1,000-yard rookie receivers this year.
Sleeper is definitely having issues. It just
I'm sure.
I've been picking, and it literally came up my name and auto picked me. Like,
so you didn't pick Tom Brady?
No, I did not pick Tom Brady.
So right after my 2 rookies that I picked, London and Burks, went Olave, who I love Olave as a player, loving him less as a fantasy prospect as the days go by.
Just because of Michael Thomas?
Yeah, because Michael Thomas is coming back and Kamara is no longer going to be suspended, so there's going to be less balls for him. I think he'll have a solid year. I'd say maybe like 700-800 yards, hopefully.
Yeah, the hard part is that's probably not even enough to make him break your fantasy.
Exactly, that's the issue.
So, yeah.
But he could have, Michael Thomas is out a week. He could put up a 20 spot or something.
It's true.
We don't know yet. After Olave went Pollard, DeMario, shocker. DeAndre Hopkins, which I still kind of feel like that's early. What is it? He's out 6 games, right?
Mario and I have a big difference of opinion on DeAndre Hopkins. He's 30 years old. They brought in a number 1 receiver from another team. He's going to miss 6 games. It's not like he was a number 1 receiver last year. Like, I think he ended in the teens or low 20s. It wasn't it was amazing. Like, I'm not drafting a low end RB2 that's going to miss 6 weeks. Like, it's just, and that's not really to be a knock on, who drafted him, because D Hop's a great player. That's not directed at that person. It's just not going to be for me this year, I don't think.
That was a good Ramondre Stevenson pick by Mario, because I just read a report that he's been stepping into the James White role. But I wanted to go back to the Hopkins real quick, because the 6 games he's going to be out, those are 6 vital games in your season.
For you making the playoffs, yep.
Exactly. And I have learned, or if I have learned anything in the past 5 years, your best ability is availability, and guys that are going to be suspended are going to hurt you. I'm actually going to do quite a bit of a reach here. There's a lot of guys available, tight ends, but I have a tight end. I've got my running backs. Chase Edmonds, I thought about him here. I am going to go with, who was I just looking at?
Boy, you're scrolling a long ways. Whoa.
Yeah, kind of a reach. Whoa. But I think at this point in the 10th round, my full starting roster is filled out. I have my top.
Yeah, you're taking your flyers you want to bet on at this point.
Exactly. And once you get into those flyers, I'm taking the guys that have the most upside. And Dameon Pierce, he's got a clear path to becoming a starter.
He does.
He's a rookie, so he's young. Oh, crap. It's still my pick. Oh, no. Chase Edmonds.
Oh, yeah. You pulled it out there. That was nice.
Oh, man. I was monologuing. I'm glad I got Edmonds there, too, because that's another one that he's still young enough.
It sounded like he's the number 1. Yep.
Sounds like he's the number 1. I predict it's going to be a pretty good offense.
Yeah.
And actually, all these people, if they didn't take tight end, I feel like this is actually not a bad crop right now to take a tight end at this pick. Like TJ Hawkinson just went off the board.
Right.
Zach Ertz is still there. I think Zach Ertz will be fine.
It's interesting. Do you think standard scoring would push tight ends up or down? I would think it would push them up because it downgrades receivers more than tight ends. Because I just think tight ends, or you just don't think much change.
I was going to say I don't think much changes.
Yeah.
I think it impacts them all equally.
Okay. Yeah.
And actually, we have a couple picks we should probably go back to. So we had Sky Moore go to Alex after Tyler Lockett, which is surprising because I don't know. I'm not a Tyler Lockett guy. Melvin Gordon, Alan Lazard, which that's pretty good value, Cody. I like it in the 10th for a guy.
Yeah, I like the touchdowns. That's what I was trying to chase.
Yeah. Trey Lance. And funny enough, this guy also picked Deshaun Watson right after Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance in the 10th round is a steal. And I've already talked to Mario that in our draft coming up in 2 weeks, I think, I want to reach for Trey Lance hard. Like, I'm talking like, let me look. Like
you think he's
round,
the guy this year?
7th round?
Yeah. In that Kyler Jalen area?
Yeah, and I think that there's going to be at least one other person that is going in with the mindset of, I'm going to reach for Trey Lance. So I want to beat that person to him. because his floor is going to be insane.
And standard scoring probably boosts QBs. We talked about, does it impact tight ends? Probably not much. It might boost quarterbacks a little bit because I just think it downgrades receivers is really and even running backs to some degree. It takes some of those PPR running backs out of being, fantasy studs. And so you probably could serve yourself well focusing on quarterback some. I look at that Tom Brady pick and that I was auto drafted on. It's just unfortunate. It's most unfortunate. I'm actually contemplating drafting my QB right now just to say, like, hey, this is where I would have. I'm going to do it, actually.
You're going to take Matt Stafford?
Yep, sure am.
Yeah, of course you are.
Because it's the
even
12th
with the
round.
elbow tendonitis.
Yeah. He's got to make it. He's got to make it through 17 games. He's got to make it through 16 games for my fantasy season. That doesn't 30 throws times 16. He could go out there and throw 300 balls today. So in terms of him making it through the season, it doesn't worry me too much.
Yeah, as you can see on my screen, I'm going down. We're in the 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm looking for the diamonds in the rough.
The Marlon Max, you mean, for you?
Isaiah Pacheco just went. That's another guy getting hyped. He was trending on Twitter last night when I was scrolling.
That KC running back room is,
I bet George Pickens goes to Mario here in the next 2-3 picks.
He took Chase Claypool. He might not.
Yeah, I know. But
gosh, I tell you, what do you think about Chase Claypool?
I don't think anything about Chase Claypool.
I don't think Chase Claypool is a good football player.
He did take Mike Gesicki here. I don't hate that pick. Mike Gesicki's huge. He's like 6'6" and runs like a 4.4, 4.5.
My only beef with that, it's just so many weapons. Like, it's not a Gesicki beef. I think Gesicki's a great football player. He's a receiver in a tight end's body, so I like him.
Right. I agree. At this point, I feel like I just have to go and take value. But
I'd like to see what you call value.
I'm like, oh my God, none of these guys are value.
That's what I was getting at.
I'll grab Tua.
I mean, you could take Naheem Hines since you've got.
Nope, I'm going to pass on that. And I'm going to steal your boy. I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson.
Oh, don't, Brian, don't. Why would you do that to me? So here, this is the first real draft or mock. This is a big moment. Big moment. It's the very first real draft or mock draft this entire fantasy season. It is August 15th. It's the first time I didn't get Darrell Henderson. The first time.
In the 13th round, he was robbed. I just don't understand how he's staying so low. Like,
dude, I know.
Why would you rather have the rookie third string running back in Kansas City
or the backup running back for the stinking Jets?
Yeah, or the backup for the Jets, rather than the guy who's going to be guaranteed some work, or at least that's the way it's looking.
Right.
Going to be guaranteed some carries. Like, I was looking at James Cook. I'm like, I don't really know what Buffalo's backfield's doing. A lot of people are predicting this is the year for Singletary, but I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Mario
he was
Pickens.
No, there you go. You called it. Bro, I'll tell you. Mario so got his team, his guys picked out. His dad bod squad is I mean, that is a Mario team right there. There's literally not a detour as I look through that roster.
A detour. Let me go look for some sleepers in here.
I just don't think I'm ever going to play any of these running backs, so I think I'm just going to give up on running back. I think
You're pretty much not. Who do you have? You have Patterson. You have Damian.
I'm going to take Christian Watson just in case the Lizard isn't the guy and Watson is, even though I don't think it's going to be Watson.
That's interesting because I was looking through here looking for Romeo Doubs.
And just so you know, I think you're frozen.
You think I'm frozen? I don't think I'm frozen.
Well, it's on Alex.
Oh, you think my draft is frozen?
Yes.
Okay, well, I think I can just refresh it real quick. There we go. All right, yes, the draft did freeze. Like you said, Sleeper's been having a little bit. We've got a little bit of illness.
She's clunky tonight.
Okay, so you did go with Christian Watson, which
I don't even like Christian Watson. I'm just hedging. I didn't like much, and I'm like, well, if Lazard's not the guy, then Watson's got a chance to be the guy. So
yeah. I like that Tyler Boyd pick. I think Tyler Boyd still has enough left in him. I think he's a talented player. I mean, he's down in that slot role, but if you're projecting, the same offense as last year,
right?
I wish I could click on him and there we go, player card. I want to see how he finished last year.
Standard scoring is probably not the most beneficial scoring format for him, but like the guest mentioned, he was great last year.
Oh, this is like per game. Jeez.
Are you trying to figure out what he finished last year? I think it was like 32.
32. See, that's not bad to get at this point in the draft, I feel like.
Nope.
And especially if, Higgins or Chase misses time, which let's be honest, they probably
happen.
will.
Yep.
A lot of people just miss times. Like that's just a common thing. Oh man, the run on kickers
The
is done.
kicker run.
You know what's funny is that in our dynasty startup the other day, I drafted like 2 defenses and no kicker, and then we ended up getting rid of kickers.
Right. Yep.
I was a genius. All right, so I got 2 free picks coming up here in a second. A lot of people hyped on Justin Fields. I'm not one of them.
No. I think his floor is probably like half decent just because of the rushing, but I just don't see the ceiling this year to me.
I like the Dotson pick. Yeah, but I'm going to completely punt on kicker, not even draft one. Like if you're able to not pick a kicker,
I'm not either.
Why? I'll take a flyer on Julio.
Unless Cade York is there. If Cade York's there, he will be welcome to my squad.
Yeah, no joke.
I'm not going to have a
Julio
defense
can still turn up with Tom Brady there. Tom Brady is the fountain of youth, so I'm sure he'll let Julio sip a little. I'm going to go Brian Robinson for the name.
Such a crummy name.
Get the Bryans on the squad. I think rookies have just been they've been handed more work earlier in their careers. Like it used to be like if you were a rookie, they were like, you're going to sit a year or 2.
Yeah. Are you talking a specific?
Oh, Mario took Josh Palmer. Why didn't I take Josh Palmer?
He said, dang, Brian, like he thought you were taking him.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he said, how could I?
About who?
He must have wanted Brian Robinson. I'll let him know I was asleep at the wheel. Or he just said, how could you? Because I didn't take Josh Palmer. I probably should have grabbed the defense there. I am actually.
I'm not taking defense or kicker.
I like to draft defenses. I always draft defenses. I would much rather not have to play the waiver wire game.
I'll tell you, let me point something out here real quick. I've been out on Jameson Williams just because of, what's the early season look like. And I don't necessarily want to sit on a guy, but in the 15th round, the talent that Jameson Williams is, where he was drafted, like if he wasn't injured, he would be right there in the Treylon Burks and Drake London.
For sure.
And 15th round, I mean.
But the thing, though, is that people don't know how it's going to look with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Drake London, he's got Kyle Pitts there. Kyle Pitts plays a different position.
Treylon Burks has Robert Woods, so it's not. Yeah, I'm with you.
No, Robert Woods is hurt, so.
Yeah.
So Jameson, and he's on a bad team. But that doesn't really change.
All right, so let's go. I want to do something different with the review of these teams.
All right.
Will you when you pick a team, will you scroll in some so it's easier to see the players on each team? So let's just do your team first. Zoom in, yeah, sorry.
All right.
I think zoom is the boomer term, right? Wouldn't scroll in be the
scroll in is that's not a thing. I don't know. This is scrolling, Cody.
Yeah, but if you hold control and then scroll.
All right, so do you just want me to click my team? Is that what you
Yeah. What I want to do instead of the like, oh, I love this team, I hate this team. I think I want to look through and be like, wow, that was a nice pick. I want to find out the spot where it's like, hey, that person did good there. Okay. So give me your favorite pick on your team.
My favorite pick on my team.
You can scroll down through some, yeah.
I really have high hope for Drake London. I really think he's going to ball out. I mean, he's getting, I don't want to say he's getting comps to Calvin Johnson, but he was like during draft time. That was like one of the comps, which I thought was ridiculous. I just think he's going to get the work. Yeah, he's a rookie. Atlanta's going to be bad. Mariota isn't a great passer. They're going to be down. They're going to be throwing the ball. That's my thoughts there. Is that all you wanted from me?
You know what? I'm going to surprise you with the pick of yours that I like. Yeah, I'm going to surprise you.
Is it Darrell Henderson?
It's A.J. Dillon.
Okay.
No, I'm going to leave that one off. But it's A.J. Dillon because he's your third running back, right?
Yep. He is. I have Breece Hall as well.
Yeah, I love A.J. Dillon as a third running back in standard scoring. And especially when you're looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 7th round?
Yeah, seventh round.
I love it. I think that's a great pick there.
Yeah, I love A.J. Dillon. So I, of course, love that pick as well. Should we move to the next team?
All right, let's hit the next team. See what you like there.
All right. So we have McCaffrey going second.
What we think they did good here.
I actually really like the CeeDee Lamb pick. I know it's early. I wanted him at this Deebo Samuel slot, though.
Tell you, Diggs is the even better pick, man.
Yeah, probably true. And like I said, I was really up in the air between those two.
I think Diggs in the third is going to be my pick. I think Diggs in the third is great.
Yeah. Let me look through the rest of this. I think Brandon Cooks there is a good pick as well. The only issue I have with that pick is that he's already got so many receivers that he's really not going to use Brandon Cooks. So it's just going to be a 1,000-yard receiver on his bench for the whole year.
Right.
Unless Hollywood flames out, which I think is possible.
Right. And you're still even then just looking at your flex because, you've got Stephon Diggs. If you've got Stephon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, you can probably afford to chase upside because you've got such studs. You're not looking to fill a wide receiver too.
I also like this 11th round Aaron Rodgers. This is just more fuel for your weight on QBs. I mean, 11th round, you get the MVP.
I mean, imagine what you can get in the 12th round, like a Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Elbow tendonitis. All right, let's look at Mario's team.
He did load up running backs early, which I like in this scoring format.
Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily like Javonte Williams just because.
But as a flex,
time and everything. No, flex is fine. I mean, third
that's
running
what
back
it is
is great. Derrick Henry's great pick. Chubb. These are two guys built for standard scoring.
Yeah.
These might be two top 5, 10.
10 for sure.
Standard.
Yeah.
You like?
I'll tell you what I'll tell you the hole for me, and this is just because I view some players I'm not quite as in love with Cortland Sutton, and I'm not as in love with Allen Robinson. So he went out and got guys for him that are hey, these are wide receiver 2s. I'm good. For me, this team's missing a wide receiver 2.
And I think another important thing, kind of you just hit on it right there, is sometimes it's best to go with the consensus best pick rather than a guy that you want.
Yeah.
Because actually, Allen Robinson was the guy that I did that with a couple years ago. He just kept falling the first year after he left Jacksonville. And I was like, I don't really know who to pick. I'll just grab Allen Robinson. And then he turned up. And it's funny you mentioned that, Cody, because I also not a big Cortland Sutton fan. I'm not the biggest believer in Terry McLaurin either.
He's probably a wide receiver 2. And so this team probably has a wide receiver. It's just missing a wide receiver 1. Which of those running backs it's going to be. So he's okay with that. I just think there's a little question mark.
Then he went young. He picked perennial MVP. I said perennial. That's not the word I was looking for. Eventual MVP, Josh Palmer in the 15th. That's a steal.
I think 8-8 for me. The pick here that I like is the Dalton Schultz at 8-8, and I haven't necessarily been quite as in love with Dalton Schultz, but I like Dalton Schultz, and in almost the 9th round, for as much as he likes him, that's solid.
I think I'm going to skip this team. Unless you'd like me to.
Because it's nope, that's okay. Oh, there you go. That'll fix it.
Let me click it. All right, let's go to Tim's team.
Cool.
Let's see. We got Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Zeke. He's got some strong running backs. I think Zeke's downfall is being exaggerated a bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Value for him in the
He's got ETN too. He's got 4 running backs.
Yeah.
Not the perfect format for ETN, but it's hard to argue with.
I mean, and then he's got pretty solid receivers too. I mean, you got Thielen for the floor and Judy for the upside.
Yeah. This team's a lot like Mario's. I think it's sort of missing that wide receiver too, but the running backs are studs. And that might be a good approach in standard. They probably are taking the right approach.
Yeah. I agree. Got Burrow in the 9th.
Yeah.
Wait on quarterbacks for sure. I only took Josh Allen because he brings that second the rushing to the team as well. Got Pacheco.
I think the later picks aren't so much my flavor, just personally. And so for me, not for me in terms of, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Sorry, I keep kind of cutting you up, but I was just going to say Kadarius Toney is a guy that watching him play, I love him, but I have found myself not really drafting him in any leagues because it kind of seems like he's a head case or has issues with the coaches.
He doesn't have a quarterback.
He's been hurt a lot. Well, that didn't matter in those 3 games he played last year.
Yeah, a little stretch. But it's such a small sample. I mean,
he's just somebody I want to see his potential realized.
Yeah. I think I'm going to say Zeke here because standard scoring, he's going to get 10 touchdowns, 3rd round, later mid-3rd round. I think Zeke's a really nice pick there.
Yeah, I also like Zeke there. I think that's good value. Do we want to do Team 6? I thought Team 6 was a person, but they must have left.
They must have left mid-draft and then it got rid of their name.
Dobbins.
Let's just take a little peek at it.
Yeah.
That Elijah Mitchell at 6'5" is nice. You and I both like Mitchell quite a bit.
I do like Mitchell, but I believe he just got injured in – I wish I could read this. I can't. I believe he just picked up a little injury. Kind of scary, just those San Francisco running backs.
Yeah.
I am trying to avoid it at all costs, like picking a San Francisco running back. But I think in this area, in the 6th round, I think that's really good value.
Yeah. Tell you what, this team 6 is my kind of team just in general. When I see Michael Gallup later, and if you scroll up some for me, Elijah Mitchell, Mike Williams,
Williams.
J.K. Dobbins. This is a lot of guys I like.
This is like
not so much at the top. I don't think I'm quite as in, but at 2.5,
I think this is like a big boomer bust team. Like you got, if Hill turns it up like last year, and Dobbins shows everything he's got, and Mitchell shows everything he got, and Mike Williams doesn't get hurt, this team's putting up 200 points a week.
Yeah, let's just assume that Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill are what they are. He got 2 stud receivers then. So then if I say, hey, if JK and Kamara hit, and that's not a huge ask. Those are guys that could very reasonably hit. You are loaded if you hit those running backs.
Loaded. The only thing I probably would have done different is maybe not taking a 4th receiver and gone with like a Russell Wilson, who I like a lot more than Dak.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, honestly, I probably would much rather have Burrow than Dak too. I'm surprised he went a whole round later.
Right.
All right, let's check out eating it like groceries. Got Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen went receiver, took the value there.
Yep.
Herbert in the 3rd, love that. Pittman in the 4th, love
Pittman's
that.
Nice at 4-4. Yeah, Pittman's nice at 4-4. That might be the pick.
I feel like he's going a lot earlier in PPR leagues. Like to get him after Connor, I feel like that's robbery. Yeah. I hate the Edwards-Alaire pick because I just hate that backfield.
Yeah.
This is the pick this guy picked a lot of quarterbacks.
But I like them all.
Oh my God, and there's another one.
I wouldn't have taken quarterbacks. How many is that?
I think
6?
7? 6. No, Justin Fields too. 1, 2, 3,
how many
4,
running backs
5,
does he have?
6, 7. He's got
one.
He's got one. Oh, that's hilarious.
He just kept, every time he was up, he's like, man, the value's too good on Kyler. Man, the value's too good on Trey Lance.
I think the Trey Lance pick is his pick. I mean, he has Herbert and Murray, so it doesn't make any sense. He's probably planning on trading the rest of the league once we get started.
I don't know. I got Stafford and Brady. I'm not trading.
I love the Trey Lance pick in the 10th. I hate the Hunter Renfrow pick because I feel like he relies a lot on PPR.
Yeah, I think the days of getting Trey Lance in the 10th are waning. Like I think that's
agree.
An eighth round pick by normal draft day.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that by next week or 2 weeks it doesn't happen that quickly.
Yeah.
All right, let's head over to Cody's.
He did pick quarterback that I like. I like all of them. He didn't necessarily pick people I'm avoiding.
All right, so I really like Cody's first 2 picks. He went Cooper Kupp and DeAndre Swift.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't taking Cooper Kupp there, but looking back, I just took Cooper Kupp as the 3rd receiver off the board. It actually is okay.
Wild.
Yeah.
I'm not as in on Jamar Chase as other people. And actually I feel like in standard, I like Devontae Adams a lot more.
Yeah, with all the touchdowns.
Like I'd shove him right in with those guys. I mean, he's already my 4th guy anyway.
I'll tell you, I think my pick, and it was just because it fell to me, I didn't really want to do
Mooney
it.
Or Allen
no,
Lazard?
I think Mark Andrews at 3.8.
3.8.
He's been. Mark Andrews is normally a 2-3 turn guy. I think the price is really good on that.
I think the price was good there as well. I do like the Mark Andrews pick for sure. I liked the Mooney. I liked the Lazard.
I guess
pick.
7-8.
And I mean, you could even make an argument that Cordarrelle Patterson, you got a starting running back in the 11th round. I know he's not a sexy name.
Yeah, and I didn't even feel good picking him. It was funny. I stared at him for a while, and as everybody just skipped him, I'm like, I mean, this guy's probably going to finish top 24, at least top 30. Like, at some point, you just got to do it.
It's funny because that's probably the same flavor you had for James Conner.
Yeah.
You look at him and you're like,
I picked a lot of gross players. David Montgomery. I mean, I picked a lot of gross players, but I really just took what came to me that draft. Like, it was all people that everyone skipped on.
Makes sense. House's team, I think, is probably the best team.
Let me throw something in on House's team real quick. So do you remember what I was trying to pick in round 1?
Yeah.
And House commented this. I was deciding between Najee Harris and Joe Mixon, and he drafted them both.
He got them both.
Yep.
I think his team, at least his starting team, like just look at these first 6 picks.
Let me add something in that we didn't add. That was back in the first round. Second round.
So he got Najee and Mixon, who are probably, at least in my opinion, going to be 2 top 10 guys.
Especially in standard scoring.
Yeah, Pitt's going to be like a top 3 guy.
2 top 6 or 7 in standard scoring, honestly.
Mike Evans in the 4th is a steal.
Great for standard scoring again. Man, I'll tell you, House really took to the scoring format here.
I would take Mike Evans over Tyreek Hill in just about every league, I think.
I agree.
I don't even think standard. I think just every league I would take Mike Evans over Hill. You got Waddle, who I like. Cody, you don't like him as much.
Especially not in PPR. I've come around in PPR, but standard is tough for me to get there.
Lamar Jackson in the 6th. Solid value there.
Yeah. I've got Lamar Jackson for a bounce back. He's my 3rd QB right now.
I hate the Sanders pick, but I love the Melvin Gordon pick. I hate the Gabriel Davis pick, but I love the Bateman pick.
I'm with you on all everything you said.
Christian Kirk, that's another one like Patterson. He went right after Patterson also.
Right.
Probably some decent value that's kind of being slept on. I liked the Tyler Boyd pick.
How many QBs do you think House thinks he's starting?
You did pick 3.
He did. I like this team. Can you go back up to where he picked Waddle? And can you scroll across? I'm just going to see what I would have done here. So St. Brown, Michael Thomas.
It goes down here. So Michael Thomas.
St. Brown. I guess there wasn't much there. There was.
I don't know if I would have, but I might have.
I'll tell you, if I hadn't taken, and this is just for me, I know you like Waddle. Let's say hypothetically I hadn't taken Amari Cooper and he got Amari Cooper there as his wide receiver 2 to go with those running backs, that tight end, that QB, this would be my favorite team. But I struggle a little bit with Waddle.
I think you're a lot higher on Cooper than I am, especially because
I think I'm like mid-teens on him. Like when I say mid-teens, I think I'm like 18, 19. I guess that's late teens.
See, there's no question I would take Waddle over Cooper.
Even in standard scoring. The guy had 4 touchdowns, and I'm not sure he had 1,000 yards. That's interesting.
Who, Waddle? I think he did have 1,000 yards.
I mean, maybe it was like 1,004. It was all he did was receptions when you got down to it, like the PPR.
1,000 yards, 1,015.
Oh, I was close, 1,004.
Yeah, he was F it. Jalen's out there somewhere, guy.
Yeah, he was a short yardage guy, and he was really good at it. This isn't really a knock on Jalen. Like, he was great last year. I just don't think what he did last year leads to a top 24 fantasy season in standard scoring for me.
I got to go back to this comment by House again, saying that Pickett is his locker room guy. It's kind of amazing to say that a rookie is going to be your locker room guy, a rookie backup
and that your fantasy team has a locker room guy.
Then we have our last team. And sorry, Alex, I think this might be my least favorite team here. I think it was a bit
there's
of a
things I like
Saquon.
And there's things that it's not for me.
I think I'd much rather have Mixon over Saquon.
Agreed. And probably DeAndre. And probably
fine.
Yeah.
I hate Cam Akers.
Same. Yeah, I struggle.
In the 3rd, I feel like that's way too high.
Great Lenny pick at 4-1 though, man.
I do like the Lenny pick for sure.
That's his pick
Alex,
to me.
We know he loves Amon-Ra, which I can't fault him. There's just people that are in on him and there's people that are out on him.
Michael Thomas it's a high upside play. I mean,
it is. And then the 6th, when you're looking at Judy, you're looking at a whole bunch of other guys that are high upside plays. Maybe you want to take the guy that's done it before.
Sure.
Russell, solid QB pick. Ken Walker, that's actually a pretty solid pick there in the 8th round.
Yep, agreed.
Next, Damian Harris. I like the Damian Harris pick better probably, but I like the Ken Walker pick more than Miles Sanders.
Yep.
I think Walker will have solid value. He also loves Lockett and Sky Moore, 2 guys that I'm out on too. This is just a completely personal my personal dislike for certain players.
I had one of those teams earlier. I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody I said, like, these players are just not my flavor. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Tyler Algier in the 12th. That's pretty solid. He has a chance to supplant
he does.
Cordarrelle.
Yep.
Rashad White, same thing with Lenny. He got the handcuff to his own running back. And then Jameis as the quarterback.
Yeah.
So Jameis, he's going to sling it. He's going to throw a lot of interceptions, but he's also probably going to throw a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, I think if it was Mixon over Barkley, I think the Barkley and the Cam Akers is my struggle point. And I think that's kind of your struggle point too, mostly.
See, I'm thinking that back. The Akers pick is really my struggle point and probably the St. Brown pick. The Barkley pick, I don't even hate that much. I would take Mixon over him just because
Yeah.
Mixon was like a top 5 guy last year.
Yeah.
And Barkley has been now, 3 years
Right.
since he's done anything. But I don't blame him because the hype around Barkley right now is
It's real.
It is
Yeah.
completely real. And the people that, like, who was it on our thing the other day, who said that Barkley is, like a top 3 upside guy that you can get in the second or third round.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it that way,
And honestly, why we're probably the wrong people to talk on Cam Akers, because I've obviously been the Darrell Henderson guy, and you just drafted Darrell Henderson, so
Yeah,
that says a lot.
It's insane to me that Cam Akers is going in the 3rd here, and Henderson is going in the 13th, when it could very well be a 50-50 backfield.
And if it is 50-50, I'm not saying it will be 50-50, because I think Cam Akers probably has the best chance to be that guy. It's just the draft capital difference is so big. But if it is 50-50, here's what I am confident in. Darrell Henderson is getting the work you want. He's getting the receiving work, and he's getting the goal line work, in my opinion. And so if it does end up being a split, Cam Akers owners are in trouble. If Cam Akers is the guy, then it's going to be a good pick. But as soon as it's a split, I think Cam Akers owners are in big trouble.
Yeah, I agree, because at that point, it's almost like you're
between the
throwing
20s
away
guy.
your third round pick.
And if he's a between the 20s guy, if you tell me he's going to get 16 carries for 74 yards between the 20s, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't want it.
Another combo that I want to point out, and if you find another one of like splitting guys, I wanted to point out here, Aaron Jones going 2nd round, AJ Dillon going 7th.
Yeah,
and I think that's just too big of a disparity as well.
I
think Aaron Jones is going too high, and I think AJ Dillon is going a little too low. Like, they both maybe should be in the 4th, because I do think that they are going to split like 50-50. People are hyping Aaron Jones because he's going to get the passing work, but this is a standard league.
Yeah, standard league, I agree with you. That's what I was going to say. I think in a PPR league, I think Aaron Jones is still a late 2 player for me. Because I think he's still
weeks he'll win you for he has weeks he'll win you the entire week for himself.
I think like AJ Dillon being too low in this scoring is the bigger story. He's a bruiser on a team that's going to run the ball a lot. 7th round is too late.
Where did Pollard go? Pollard went in the 9th. That's another guy that people are expecting. Like, with Zeke's value dropping so much and him going in the 3rd, the 4th, wherever he's going, you would think that you would see more movement on Pollard upwards, but he really hasn't.
I feel like it happened. I feel like it shifted. So the first couple months of this offseason, let's call it May to July, it was Pollard season. Like, I felt like Pollard was coming up and Zeke was coming down. And it's sort of flipping where people are finally coming to this point where they're like, wait, I don't think Zeke's done. And Zeke's kind of like coming back a little bit now. I think it's flipping.
I agree with you for sure. Another interesting one I wanted to point out was Antonio Gibson. So he's another guy that's getting tons of hate. I can't click on this team. So he went in the 7th.
You can probably click on the player.
He fell a ton, right?
Yeah.
He fell a ton. Let's not forget, last year he was the 12th running back. 11th in standard, actually.
In standard 11th, yeah.
I'm not saying like that for anything like go draft him, but I'm saying that Washington is able to run the ball. So if you're not believing in Gibson, why is Brian Robinson going in the 15th?
Yeah, you bring up a fair point. I've kind of just stayed away in general.
Which makes sense.
So I'm not necessarily chasing
there, right?
I mean, because there's still McKissick too, so neither of them are getting the receiving work.
I was going to say, even McKissick, when he played last year, he was a flex guy. Like, you got value out of the Washington.
So let's say the receiving work goes away. Let's say McKissick gets most of the receiving work, which is probably true. Then you got whatever the timeshare looks like between Brian Robinson and Gibson for just the rushing work. And it doesn't get me excited. I do think the price is getting too low. I agree with you that it's probably too low for a guy who was top 12 last year, but I just really, really struggle to get excited about a timeshare in just the running game on a not that great a team. It scares me.
So, I think the last one I want to talk about is just the poster boy for
Which that's earlier than I see
split
Melvin
time.
go some. Do you feel like, or am I crazy on that?
I feel like that's about where he goes.
About right?
So,
Okay.
so Melvin in the 10th and Javante in the 3rd. Last year, they literally split, I think it was 51-49 on
Yep.
snaps.
Yep.
And Melvin outproduced Javante in like every category. Not saying that's going to happen again because Javante is a stud, but the philosophy from the coaches seems to be to want to keep Javante fresh.
Yeah.
And Melvin's not necessarily washed yet. I mean, I think he's going to be 30 here.
He's 29. Yeah, 29.
But we saw Frank Gore do it for how many years? I mean, Melvin could still be
he could.
serviceable. I think that's a great pick in the 10th round there.
I think it's a great pick too. Here's the one like little maybe like smidgen meh I'll put on it, but I do think it's a great pick. So this isn't against what you're saying. Melvin Gordon is of the running backs. So he is for running backs what Adam Thielen is for receivers to me.
Yeah.
I think the upside is non-existent. I think the floor is very like bye-week fill-in.
I would agree.
And so it's just like, what am I chasing here? But the price is great. Like in the round, the price is great. So I'm not against the pick.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think the floor is solid. Like, I think he's going to get you, I want to say last year, he mostly got me like 12 points a week or something.
Yeah.
And then occasionally there were those weeks where he had 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, right.
But I think if Javante is to miss times, Melvin automatically becomes
number 1 running back. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. It's in the same way, vice versa, if you switch them around, which Melvin's probably more likely to be.
It's a handcuff plus scenario. And when I say plus, it's a significant plus. Like it's more than a handcuff, but this handcuff becomes stud if something happens.
Yeah. You know what's also interesting and somebody who hasn't gotten talked about at all is Kareem Hunt. I can't click on him, but he's right here. Kareem Hunt has gotten literally no talk.
Yep.
Chubb's going in the 2nd, Hunt's down here, but as I recall, as a Browns fan, when they are both healthy, they pretty much split drives. Like they didn't necessarily split time, but they split drives. Yeah, I see Mario saying that. He's just saying that because he loves Javante. I don't hate Javante. I love Javante.
Yeah, he's the best. He was the best. He's the best RB3 in this draft. I'll take that back. Him and Lenny are close, but I mean, it's a great pick. Like Mario's running backs are loaded. It's
if you go off of talents, Javante is the best RB3 in this draft for sure.
Yeah, but if you go off opportunity, Lenny is. So take what you're chasing.
That is very true. And I am a guy that will always take opportunity, I think.
I am as well.
Because I think that's the main thing you got to look at. And like, you might love your guys, but you got to look at the opportunity that some of these guys are going to have.
If your guy is a running back on the worst team in the league with the 31st ranked offensive line, it ain't going to be good even if he's your guy. It ain't going to be good.
Is that Cordarrelle Patterson?
There you go. That's it.
Oh, man.
Cool.
I mean,
all right, man. Well, I think that's going to do us for tonight. So thanks, everybody. For Brian, I'm Cody. Take a look on Twitter at DadBotFS, YouTube, all the good stuff. And everybody have a good night.
Have a great night. The outro just started. So we're going to have a little bit of more time, Cody, because I like to hear the music. So I'm going to you can leave. I'm just going to
Been working on my wave.
Where is that? Is my team
feels robotic. Here's Mario. The answer is no. A big fat no.
Definitely not. Your team's awful. Just
all right,
kidding. You have
see ya.
pretty good running backs. Adios.